Well, certainly, I want to first of all apologize for the 1 hour time lapse. Something came up. Something came up which demanded my urgent attention. So I had to go attend to that and then come to do the show today. But I want to thank you for your patience, and for those of you who still stuck on me, I appreciate that. I've been off for a while since last week, Wednesday, and I thought let me give the season a break. It's not an attribute. It's not a tribute to the holiday or the or what the season represented, but I have to take some leave because I've been busy trying to wrap up my book, and so it took a toll on me mentally, and to some extent affected the eye that was already weak, added more pressure on that eye. So I had to lay off a bit because writing on the laptop takes a lot of concentration and the lights glaring in your eyes, and I've been busy behind it trying to wrap it up. Just volume 1 to volume 3 I've been trying to wrap up and get it out back and forth with the editors and people who were involved in it, back and forth, reading, making adjustments, doing corrections, whatever. And that went into the night, most nights into the morning time, and no sleep for the whole day, all night. So it was a challenge, and it's not an easy thing. Being an author is not an easy task. So I respect all the writers that are out there who dedicate and devote their time and their energy and their capacity to writing and composing and things like that. It's not easy. I mean, I've been doing it a lot most of my life. So this particular volume of books I've been working on is not easy. I can tell you that. But today I want to thank you for your patience. Let's get on with it. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I'm Dr. L. Prasad. Forgive the outfit. A very good friend, ally, a great individual, a humanitarian, and he will go down in record as one of Suriname's great leaders, because I cannot limit his greatness just to the 5 years he would have been president. This is a man who has shaped, molded, and influenced the Suriname's economy, society, the spiritual realism of Suriname since he was a police officer. And I speak of the late Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, the ex-president of Suriname, from Commissioner of Police to Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Justice and Police, to President. What I want to say is that I've had maybe a few years of knowing President Santokhi, okay, extend beyond 7 years, beyond that. I've gotten to know him more pre-election and post-election 2020 when he became president. A time when the world was faced with a tremendous evil, which we would call COVID. And it was not an easy thing to take the reign of power, and having to bail your country out of what it would have inherited by way of the global community and the global financial structure, and to bring it through those rough waters of COVID to the point where you saw a reduction of death, a reduction of crime, a reduction of homelessness, a reduction of joblessness, and still the economy was able to stay afloat and to sustain itself and to bring itself out of that miry clay of indebtedness during the time that the world was on lockdown. So President Santokhi's talent and ability as a leader was tested during the time of COVID. And as a spectator myself, I spectated as to how he would navigate all of this. It was a tremendous task, and he came out excellently throughout all of it, bringing his nation and the economy of the nation to a position where it was stable, and from that stability, they can build further. I admired that. He didn't crumble, he didn't compromise, he didn't buckle under international pressure, and he did not force the rules of COVID on his people. He didn't do that. He was flexible and couldn't wait for the whole thing to be over with, so his country and his people can go back to having what kind of normalcy they can enjoy, to know that, hey, we are still humans on this plane. The other thing I want to acknowledge about President Santokhi is that he was deeply spiritual, very religious. The man makes no matters when it comes to devotion, when it comes to prayers, when it comes to meditation, when it comes to observing the days of festival under Hinduism, when it comes to observing the days of festival for the Muslims or the Christians. President Santokhi was heart and soul in every event. He was there. The man was not a good actor, so he couldn't pretend. Whatever you get, that's what he was. You could not say that, oh, he's faking it, he's pretending because he wants votes. No, 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 no. Chan was Chan all the time. I recognize that he was a spiritual president, a religious president, close to being a pandit himself as a president. Everything for the President Santokhi was prayers, everything. Pray first, you gotta pray first, you gotta pray first, you gotta meditate first, everything about him was prayers, prayers, prayers. You could not say he was the traditional politician that disregards spirituality or disregard the need of religion or God. That was not his style. He strongly believed in destiny. And what I'm saying to you, this is not just as an observer. This is about somebody. This is on the premise that I knew this for a fact. I met the man, I interacted with the man, I talked with the man, I know what I'm saying. This is not pulling information from some other talking point. When I give representation on an issue, I'm speaking from experience, personal experience. So the thing about President Santokhi, the ex-president of Suriname, is that I can say without a doubt that he was not a racist. He was not a racist. I used to compare President Santokhi with Vice President Jagdeo. I used to compare the two, because I often said, I told him that too, many times. I said, President Santokhi, you remind me of Bar Jagdeo. He says, yeah, they say, yeah. So the same passion, the same determination, the same headstrong, the same ability to articulate, and an excellent spokesman. He was the best orator, the best spokesman, politician in terms of speech. That was Chan. So I told him many times that he reminded me of Bar Jagdeo. And whenever he would say, no, I don't think so, he says, I'm not like Jagdeo. Jagdeo is a great guy. So I said, no. Why? Because both of your birthdays are in February. I told him, I said, both your birthdays are in the month of February. So you have similar characteristics. Now that I've mentioned that, a lot of you can take a look at it. So I said, Bar Jagdeo is February. He's a waterman, Aquarius. And I said, you, President Santokhi, is an Aquarius. You two have a lot in common. The drive, the determination, the stubbornness, the motivation. And he would say, well, thank you. If it's a compliment, I appreciate it. You see why it means a lot to me is because I have a lot of politicians who watch me and follow me. Okay, politicians from all over. When I need to criticize people, I criticize them. When I need to speak good of individuals, be it dead or alive, I do that. And we have sent the body of the late president to rest, to decompose, to cremate today. He was honored with a state burial, which is good. But what I take from the person Santokhi, and why I wanted to talk about him is because he was a very humble leader. A very humbled leader. I cannot speak for other people's experience. The man had no sense of arrogance. I'm speaking from my experience. I don't care what your experience was, that is your business. Whenever I'm speaking on my platform, I speak on my experience, mine, not your experience. And you, when I say your, you know exactly who I'm talking to. I can't speak for you. So from my experience, the late President Santokhi was a nobleman. He was no racist. He loved people, especially black people. He loved people. And he was passionate about the unity between Guyana and Suriname. He told me that personally. And after he told me that personally, if some of you can go back to my videos, I started a series of programs where I talked about Suriname and Guyana becoming one economy under Irfan Ali and Santokhi. Many shows I've done covering that. The Suriname and Guyanese economy merging together, becoming one economy. And I also went so far to say they'll be guided by one currency. I said that. Why? Because of the passion that President Santokhi had in really uniting the two countries. The way he spoke of Guyana, the way he spoke of Suriname, the way he spoke about brotherhood with the two countries led me to formulate in my mind that kind of projection that I can see that happening. So I campaigned rigorously for the President Santokhi's re-election 2025. Those of you who know me and follow me, you know I did. I faced a lot of fire for that. You have no idea. Because I believed that the future was good if he had retained power. I stood by it, I fought for it, I campaigned for him, I do all that I could have. But the results are the results. Because I believed in the man. I believed in his potential. So these things that I'm relating here, it is because I enjoyed the experience I've had with President Santokhi. There are other details I can share, but I wouldn't. In respect for his memory, I wouldn't do that. But my telephone, and I know celebrity. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not even a millionaire. I'm just me, little old Dr. Prasad. I'm just me. But still, for what the president knew of me, for what President Santokhi knew of me, and he would have had his people research me. And this is not today, I'm talking, I knew him a long time. But the point is, when he became president, he didn't restrict the relationship I had with him. He didn't. He pulled all the boundaries down, pulled all the whatever they call it again, that I could have his number in my phone, called him on WhatsApp, have a 5 minutes chat with him, not his secretary, not his minister, him, President Santokhi. Call him on his phone, exchange texts. He would send me quotes. He would send me inspirational quotes sometimes in the morning. He would send, if it's a holiday, if it's Christmas, whenever it is, he always sends, if it's my birth anniversary and he remembers, he sends special wishes or invite me to, hey, if you're free, just step over. That's the president. And he was president in his capacity as a president. That is how humble and noble he was. So why wasn't I passionate? Why shouldn't I have been passionate about supporting him? Of course I would. Somebody like that, I would want to be president. Because my experience is like, that's the kind of, you don't want anybody, you don't want an arrogant asshole to be president. Who wants that? Who thinks he or she is better than everybody else? Who wants that? Nobody does. Some of you need to understand that. You're humble before you become president. When you're president, you're a fucking asshole. Okay. President Santokhi. So I missed the guy. I missed him. I had plans. I talked with him a few weeks ago. I had plans. You understand? That 2030 elections, he'll be there again. And I had plans. I had a lot of plans, and I know, okay, let me put them on hold until then. And you understand? So I'm saying all of that to let you understand that the president's passing is a deep loss to me personally. I can't speak for the nation. I speak for myself. It has a profound impact on me because I understand, I know the privileges I enjoyed when he was president. And he didn't compromise to extend privileges to me. He compromised. Everything within the structure of the law, but the respect was there. He respected me as a professional, and he always called me brother. If it's not brother, he calls me professor or pastor or whatever it is. I don't know where you get the pastor thing from, but that's it. I loved the guy. So yes, I defended him on my radio shows. I defended him on my platform, but a lot of people don't understand why. They don't understand why. And this is the thing about a lot of folks, even here in Suriname. It always have to be that somebody bribe me or pay me or I'm Uncle Tom or I'm ashamed to be black. I don't understand why it always got to be that way. Why can't you allow me to justify why I take certain positions in life? I don't do things emotionally or because I feel like or because I know. If somebody impacts me personally, I must speak on the merit of that experience. And President Santokhi did. He had. So coming through his journey, I felt the pain. I saw the struggles of a president. I saw all of that. He shared intimate information with me. But I'm not going to betray his memory to discuss anything. What I'm saying is that I suffered a loss in his passing. Never had I thought that a man that young and that strong would just dissolve like that. Never have I thought that. So I was caught by surprise, like most of you, like all of you. So the president, now gone, has left a huge, gigantic hole that it will take someone 100 times greater than he was to fill that. We are yet to see who that person would be. In the VHP party, I don't know who his successor will be, but at the end of the day, he wouldn't be forgotten because he has made an impact. When he was Minister of Home Affairs, of Justice and Police, the way he handled crime, you could have literally walked down the street any hour of the day with your jewelry, with your purse, you could count your money. He brought crime down to a mere, what, 1% or below 1%. President Santokhi, as a minister, was strict, very firm on law and order. He didn't make jokes when it comes to that. He didn't mix matter. He had no tolerance for crime or criminals. None whatsoever. The man was serious. Under him, Suriname became a safe haven for law-abiding citizens. As minister and as president, he ensured that people were safe. Look at the statistics. You don't understand what I'm talking about? Go Google it. Check the crime stats during the time Santokhi was Minister of Justice and Police and the crime stats when he was president. Stable, keep going down. The man was everything that characterizes a noble, great leader. We need more leaders like him. It's always unfortunate that you can never replace these leaders. You can never replace them. You always get something worse. So let's hope that and pray that the next leader of the VHP can take it further, can build on the legacy of the great President Santokhi. I can't believe that he's gone, but the evidence is there. He has left. And I celebrate his honor. That's the first president, the first sitting president I could have called and got him. Sent him an app and he responded. The first. I'm happy. At least I'm special. Anyway, we had the Easter that went by. And a lot of you followed what the United States president, you see, America is a nation that speaks of being a Christian nation. President Trump often champions the cause of bringing back Christianity into America, bringing back the values of Christianity and all these things into America. Forget the wars and all this stuff. But on Easter, as you read yourself, I wanted to make a point on that. Easter Sunday, of all the days, the President of the United States of America tweeted, typed a message to the Iranian government and the rest of the world. Typed a message on Easter Sunday, the day when the Christ would have risen from the dead. I mean, rise up to go to heaven. The leader of a Christian nation, Christian himself, said on Easter Sunday, in a tweet, you all can read it. It's all over the internet. You heard it in the news, but I want to repeat it. I want to repeat it. Where it reads, today, which is Tuesday, today, would be Power Plant Day, Bridge Day. In other words, he's going to destroy the power plants in Iran and the bridges in Iran. And then he said in his tweet, nicely, he said to those that would be reading it, he says, open up the fucking strait, you bastards. Open up the fucking strait, you bastards. And he closed the tweet by saying, praise to Allah, as if he couldn't be more sarcastic. Now that's the president, the most powerful man on earth. I am little old me. I'm just Dr. El Prasad running a show, and I say fuck all the time, and I get a lot of fire for that. As a matter of fact, I don't even get sponsorship. As a matter of fact, people told me personally, people told me the reason why they can't support me because I cost too much. Imagine they're telling me I cost too much. Some of those people live in America. They live in America. And the president of the country that they live in said on the internet, and it's the first time, it's not the first time, he said it many, many times, on Easter Sunday to an entire nation of 90 million people. He said again, open up the fucking Strait of Hormuz. You bastards, you crazy bastards. Call them bastards. So you see why you shouldn't judge me? I'm the politician. My show is Uncensored, Guyana is Uncensored. I'm supposed to cuss. But I'm not going in that direction. But here the president, many times, not today, many, many times. And no one dare challenge him. So if you can't challenge the leader, don't challenge me. Don't criticize me, don't tell me shit. Point the finger at Trump first. Then point the finger at me. Okay, he's the president. And for Guyana, for members in the alley government who is beating around the fucking bush with the same talking point, point the finger at Trump before you point the finger at me. I'm just an easy guy. I'm not as powerful as Trump. If I was as powerful as Trump, I'll do much more than just cussing. So let's leave it as that. Tonight, as the president promised, President Trump promised tonight, he's going to end it by 12 p.m. tonight. He said he's going to end Iran. He's going to deliver on his threats tonight. If that happens, we think life is hard now. You think, not you, we think life is difficult now. Gas prices up, prices in the shops are up, everything is up. We think it's difficult now because most of the commerce, most of the things we need, Guyana, most of the things these countries need for food and energy, 30% comes from that side where the war is taking place. And Iran said, no, we're not going to open the strait. You can go fuck yourself. And Trump said, okay, good. I'll show you tonight who is fucking who. If they both deliver on their promises, the internet might be affected. The internet. Which means social media might disappear, might very well disappear. Which means we will have issues in the air travel. Life as we know it now would transition into something that we can't imagine if Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, delivers on his promise. All the promises President Ali made would make no sense. Because every promise the West makes, countries in the West makes, government in the West makes, they're making those promises on the basis that the world stays how it is. But if the war escalates tonight and President Donald Trump destroys Iran, as he promised he will, everything changes. As of tomorrow, everything changes. Then you will see how good your presidents are, your governments are. Them, because they would have no control, none, as to what happens. You don't know? Let me take you back to COVID. You see how COVID rocked your countries? Suriname and Guyana. You see how COVID rocked the country, messed it up, destroyed thousands of businesses, lives, you see? And that was just COVID. That wasn't the war, that was COVID. Policy changes affect. Well, the war and what will happen tonight if Donald Trump delivers on his promise to bomb Iran into oblivion, into the Stone Ages, back to the Neanderthal. If he delivers on that, we would see a worse time, 100 times worse than the time of COVID. You would wish there were lockdowns. This is a matter of fact. So we need to prioritize and pick our battles. Now is the time to pray and hope that the Muslim, the Shia Muslim in Iran, decides to be the stupid one, get on their knees and beg for forgiveness. We better hope they do that. Beg for forgiveness to King Trump. Because if they don't do it, we all suffer. Not just them. All of us suffer, including you Americans. You suffer too. The ones who would not suffer, would be the president, his cabinet, and the special interest groups who likes wars. They're not going to suffer. But the rest of us, yeah. The other 7+ billion people on the planet will suffer if President Trump destroys Iran tonight. I believe in prayers. I believe in meditation. So I'll be doing my part. I'm not religious, but I want a better future for my children. And the only way that can happen is if the wars stop, if the arrogance ends, and if we start, if ever the time comes and we can actually get good leaders, maybe our future might be safer. Moving on. So I completed the first volume of the book. Yes, I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll talk about it. Yes, I will. I planned on doing it. And I have a few copies with me. This is a hard copy of the book. I have two other paper copies, a hard copy. This is volume 1 of the book, Prince Ali and the President. Volume 1. This is there. Seeing properly? You see, I've been working on the book Prince Ali and the President, and I want to talk to the team. I want to talk to President Ali's team right now. I've been working on this book since 2018. 2018. And what you see here, this is about 60 pages of one volume. The manuscript that I've composed, I wrote, scrap, write, scrap, write, scrap, over and over. Several books like this. I have several books like this that I've been recording since 2018. I spent almost a year transferring that into my laptop, my computer, in a folder. If I had to publish or put together all the pages of the manuscript I've been working on for the title Prince Ali and the President, it will be close to 700 pages, close to that. No, I'm practical. Many times I see books that are this thick and I'm like, oh boy. I read a few pages and I'm like, I get what it, I don't want to continue. So when I looked at it from my own position, I thought the most I can get from people, first of all, it would be very expensive to produce a book with 600+ pages, very expensive. Where I am here, there are no publishing companies that will take your material and pay you for it. It's expensive to have somebody proofread a manuscript that thick, edit it. It's a lot of money, a lot of time, and I don't have the means, I don't have the sponsorship, and I don't have the special interest to do that. So I had to cut the whole thing in parts, then restructure it into volumes. Under the pressure of the condition of the eye issue I've been dealing with, it was not an easy task. So I reduced it So volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, up to volume 8, up to 8 volumes in that series. So far, I have completed 3, volume 1 to volume 3. What was published on Amazon is volume 1. What is yet to come out is volume 2 and 3, which just need to have the final proofread, the final editing and making sure everything is okay before the approval, and then it goes. That's all that is needed. But this was painstakingly hard for me. It took a while. Even, I repeat, even if Irfan Ali, now President Irfan Ali, was not elected or he didn't win the election in 2020, I still would have published my fucking book, because it's not a favor to Ali, it's a favor to me. You understand? I ain't doing Ali any favor. So nobody, absolutely nobody, has any authority to tell me what to do with my book. Nothing in my manuscript is made up or fabricated. Nothing. Do I know the president while he was a minister? What does it matter? Whatever I know, everybody else knows the same thing. It's public knowledge. As president, it's public knowledge. There are no secrets about whatever people know and I know. What I have shared is before he became anything, and integrated it into the journeys to what he is now. The whole objective of the book is to inspire the readers. To inspire the readers to understand that nobility has a foundation. Or am I wrong about that? The Ali I knew then, yes, I knew. If the president himself says, he hasn't said it to me, but if the president says or disavowed any public claim of mine that I have known him, that's him. That's him. That's him. People change. Power changes people. If it was the other way around, if it were the other way around, or if I was in Hollywood, or if I had emerged to the status of one of these big shot podcasters in America or the UK, if I had made it on the global stage, like people like Candace Owens and Piers Morgan and all these people, yeah, I didn't have to be president for anyone to say, yes, I knew Dr. Prasad. Oh my gosh, yes, they're happy to associate. Oh, I didn't have to do that then. But because I'm yet to achieve that prominence, in your eyes, I'm just a small guy in status. So acknowledging me wouldn't give you credibility. It wouldn't make your stars or ratings go up. I'm not asking for acknowledgement. I've written many pieces in the past. Many. I've never once asked for recognition. I don't need it. The thing about life is that when we pass, when that hour comes and we pass, if you're getting a noise in the background, it's because my neighbor is busy doing something. But when that hour comes and we pass, people forget their own ancestors, their fathers and their mothers. When they forget them. What do you think about presidents and leaders? They forget them too. What stays, what people remember, is what you leave behind, your legacy. That's what is remembered. So if I write about anyone, what is written in books are permanent. Permanent. Unless you burn the books, you can't destroy the information. It stays for millennia, it stays forever. And you can't destroy all the books. You can't burn all the books if it's circulated. You want to preserve knowledge, you want to preserve a legacy, you pen it, you write it down. That's how you preserve it. That's how you immortalize legacy. You write it down. So I immerse all of what I experienced and knew into the context that I did. Not to in any way belittle or humiliate or whatever it is, but to celebrate. The whole thing is an act of celebration. I don't get the fucking arrogance. I really don't. Listen. Either way, I'll be me. I can't change to suit anybody else. I will be me. Maybe this is why I'm not a millionaire, you know? This is why I'm not rich, because I can't slide. I can't suck up. I can't tell people what they want to hear. I can't. This is why you can trust me. Because if I'm angered, you'll know. I can't pretend to come and smile with you, which I know inside I'm burning up. I'll let you know I'm burning up. I'm done with it. And I love you again. But I'm not going to be burning up and angered. But I want to be politically correct, so I'm going to smile. But I'm going to smile, but then I'm going to call your sponsor, or I'm going to have somebody call your sponsor and tell your sponsor to pull funding from you just because you want to teach me a fucking lesson. I wouldn't do that. Pussies do that. If I have an issue with somebody, I'll tell them like it is, and I'm done with it. I would not undermine them. I would not use my powers or influence to fuck them up and then smile at their face. That's hypocritical. And it's nonsense. I'm not done like that. I don't play that kind of politics. This is why I love President Santokhi. And mind you, don't get it twisted. Don't start speculating now and you think that I'm having an issue with President Ali. This has nothing to do with Ali. What I'm saying here has nothing to do with Ali. Nothing whatsoever. So get this straight. Get this straight. I am speaking in general. I'm not directing anything to President Ali. President Ali did not call me and say, hey, pull the book. He didn't do that. You understand? I don't even think he read it. Because if he had intentions to do that, if the president had intentions to call and say, well, you know, Kenny, whatever, You know, the book this, he would have had to read it first to qualify that initiative to, like, you know what, you got to read it. I don't think he had. I don't think he did. It was live on Amazon for a few hours. So I'm not saying the president had anything to do with my decision to temporarily, it's temporarily pull it off the shelves. Temporarily means it will be back. I just need to make a few corrections. Now, speaking of corrections, at the back of the book, the person who designed this cover for me is somebody from here. And the native language of Suriname is Dutch, not English. English is a second language. And if you're not speaking this English every day, you will miss a few things. Now, when I'm busy typing and writing on a computer, sometimes I have a double vision because I'm still undergoing attention with the right eye. So sometimes, instead of, I mix words up. So I sent the text to this particular person who designed the cover and things like that. And they would have missed a few typographical errors that I made while typing. So we have an issue here with the name Lenora. And instead of O, I put an A, Linara. That had to be corrected. The person who designed the cover would not have known the correct spelling of the village. They thought that's how it's spelled. The other identifiable mistake was about. Instead of saying A, B-O-U-T, it says I. That was a typographical error from my point. He didn't pick that up. Then the quote next to my picture, even the picture was distorted because I don't know what he did, but anyway, there was an A missing there. Now, these things happen. I have books in my collection, my library, books that were published, printed, sold in stores, books that while I was reading it, I came across errors in these books. They were already published. I came across errors because I have an eye for that. Now, what do I do? Call the authors and the publishing company and say, hey, you made a mistake with this word here. Do I need to do that? And if I do, what will they do? They are going to recall 10,000 books, if it's that much, and scrap it because of one word that may misspelled, or two words or three words. That's it? Okay. It's the message within the pages that's important. The story that the books were telling. In my case, the story my books are telling. If an error here, there, whatever it is, the manuscript of itself, why the fuck am I defending this? Why am I wasting time defending this? People who are writers will understand what I'm saying. Who are authors will understand what I'm saying. I don't have to defend this. All I'm saying here is that everything I have written is my personal account of events. I am not portraying myself as anybody's biographer. I'm not Ali's biographer. I'll never be. There's stuff about the man I don't know. I don't want to know. I share my thing. This is me. This is what I've experienced. Me and the man then. If, I repeat, if in some scenario, the man Irfan Ali turned President Irfan Ali says He doesn't recall such experience with me. That is him. It doesn't change my experience. If he says he doesn't recall or it's not, then that's him. Why you? I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying if his account differs, that's his account. Doesn't mean I can't pen my account because he's a sitting president. Shall I wait until he's not president anymore? You think I want to make money in a man's name? Who the heck buys book? You tell me. Who you think I'll be rich selling books? Who buys book? People don't even donate. They're not donating to charity. They're not donating. You think they'll go on Amazon, take the time, take their credit card, and buy a book for $5 or $10? No. I'm not banking on that. I wanted to leave a legacy. This is something for me, not for Ali, not for anybody. For me, for Kenny Warner, Dr. Prasad. It's my project. Whether people buy it or not is of no consequence to my determination to finish my 8 volumes. However, because of the sensitivity of the subject, I've decided to reclassify the future editions as fiction. There, you happy now? I've made a decision to reclassify the following second to volume 8 as fiction. So nobody needs to take it personal or see it as any way to whatever. No vetting necessary. No validation necessary. No endorsement necessary. I've done my work for the past, like I said, I put it together for a while. I'm going to see it through. All 8 of my books will be published. Whether people buy them or not, like I said before, I don't plan on getting rich from that. All the proceeds, if any, would be gone directly to the Durga Foundation. Because even the Durga Foundation now is compromised. I don't know if the donations will still come. I don't know if the support will still come to the foundation. But like I said before, I live by the aura of the universe. The universe directs one direction, I go there. Suggests another path, I go there. So far, to date, as of now, the universe have still given me the assurance that I need to continue to extend my public support towards the People's Progressive Party in Guyana. With or without my support, the government of Ali will continue. The People's Progressive Party shall continue, with or without my support. But so far, I have not had any insight, any inspiration that I should withdraw my support. But without me, President Ali has secured second term. He will be a full two-term president. Nobody can take that from him. That's on his shoulder. So whether the president wants to be humble or arrogant, he is already president twice. He's not planning, he can't be president again, so it doesn't matter. It matters not who he becomes now, because he's already president. There is no third term. That's it. Whoever wants the crown come 2030, they're the ones will have to be on the scale. And if I don't like, and like some of you like to say, some of you like to say about who cares what you like. I know. I care what I like. But if I don't like whoever the candidate is, I mean, for now I'm done with Ali. Ali's already president, so it makes no sense spending time on Ali. He's on president. Let's focus on who comes after that. If I don't like the candidate that will be coming for the PPP 2030, I have no insight as to who the person might be. But after the Congress, we shall know. If I don't like the person, I would not be supporting the PPP 2030. I have to like the candidate to support them. I supported the PPP till now is because of Chetty, Jagdeo, and Ali. I thought I was supporting Ali because of the past. I guess I was wrong about that. Anyway, whoever comes now that I wouldn't know based on their track record in the public's domain will determine if I stand by them or I turn my back. And in closing today's episode, I also want to say this. During the time of Granger's government, I talked to him 3 times. That's President Granger. Yes, I did. On the phone. 3 times. One of the reasons why I've never taken on the challenge to really hit him in any way, because he was always accommodating to me. I never asked for favors, never did. Just courtesy calls, courtesy. On 3 occasions. And let me say this also. I'm Cancerian. I'm a July born. President Granger is a July born. I think he's the 10th or the 14th of July. You understand? So I never had issues, because there's a lot that is common with people who are Cancerians. Most, if not all, Cancer people think the same. Most, if not all. We have a similar personality style. We are not arrogant. If we have to tell you something, we do it and get over it. We don't walk around with things in our hearts about people. We don't do that. And we are humble. You don't think I'm humble? You don't think I'm humble. You think I'm arrogant, do you? Not because I cuss. Donald Trump cuss too. Everybody, most presidents cuss. I'm not a president, but most of these leaders cuss. Anyway, Thanks for your attention. For now, the book is not available on Amazon. There are hard copies for the persons who have still made their donations. You'll be getting a copy of the book. My personal signature, signed copies. But volume 1 will be back on the shelves as fiction, and all the other volumes following that will be back on the shelves as fiction. It would be customary for me to read something from the book. I guess people would be asking for that. Okay, the first chapter is Beginnings and Destiny. Beginnings and Destiny. Chapter 1. Forgive me if I'm a bit slow. There are moments in life that only make sense when you look back at them. At the time, they seem ordinary, almost forgettable. Just another day, another interaction, another conversation that passes without ceremony. But years later, when everything has changed, those same moments begin to stand out, not as coincidence, but as markers of something greater unfolding. That's how I remembered the early days. Before the titles, before the recognition, before the responsibility of a nation rested on his shoulders. Back then he was just Ali. Quiet, observant, reserved in a way that made you wonder what he was thinking. Even when he said very little, he wasn't the type to command attention. When he entered a room, in fact, if you didn't know who you were looking at, you miss him entirely. You heard that? And that tone goes throughout the book. That tone goes throughout the book. Anybody write those words for me? Seriously. If anybody, if I'm a millionaire, I don't have to be like Muhammad, Azruddin, and anybody can put together a book based on a 1-year relationship. Look at Donald Trump. People worked with him in his cabinet previously, 2016. Some of them were fired after 6 months, and they wrote books about him. Bad stuff, with only 6 months experience with the guy. If I was a millionaire, and anybody can take the time, the patience, the effort, the interest, the love to put together, even if it's a paragraph about me, and it sounds this nice, I will call them up and pay for everything. I would spoil them. But then again, that's me. Don't go thinking I have an issue with Ali or Ali hasn't. No. The man didn't get a copy. He has no idea about it. I am just saying, because I've been receiving some stupid texts, stupid messages on Facebook, and these fucking assholes are bothering me. So I'm talking to them. Okay? It has nothing to do with the president. When these books are available, they'll be given to people, not the president. People. Until next time, I thank you for your attention. Pray that Trump don't hit Iran tonight, so we can continue living and being able to buy bread and tennis roll and Chinese food. Goodbye.